Assalamu alaikum and a very nice day to all of you. Thank you for joining me. My name is Hasan. I'm currently studying in UiTM Dengkil and I'm taking foundations in engineering. For my CSR project, I'm going to teach you guys how to create your very own personal finance table using just Google spreadsheets. Now, to create a new table, it's very easy. First, you just need to go to Google. Once you're here, you can see that on the upper right corner there's going to be a tray icon. You click on that, and if you scroll down a bit, you'll see that there's an icon for Google Sheets. Now you're in the main page. Now, I have to warn you that before you start a new spreadsheet, you have to make sure that you're using the account that you want to save your spreadsheet in, because it automatically saves them in the account you're using. So just a precaution. Now you can just click on here if you want to make an empty blank spreadsheet, and you can get started. So before we start creating our finance table, we should first ask ourselves what type of finance table that we want. So there are lots of different types of finance tables around, but what I'm going to show you guys today in this video is a simpler version, one that I find most suitable for students like me currently studying in university. But it's also very beneficial for those who like to keep track of their spendings, and also for those who like to save and see where their money is going. So I'm going to title this spreadsheet as Student Finance Table. Okay, so the first step is to know that we're going to create at least 3 categories or 3 tables. First one, I'm going to first merge this to a single cell. I'm going to type in income. This is going to be our first category. You should align this so income center, and then we can further divide this into 3 subcategories. First one of which is our sources. Next we have amount. Lastly, oops. Okay, so as you can see, I've merged these two, and if I want to do the same for the rows below it, I can just drag it down. See? Alright. So for our sources, this is going to be a list of all our sources of income, all the places we're getting our money from. So for example, if you have parents who are giving you allowances, if you have a scholarship, if your university is giving you a help fund, or if you're doing a side gig and working part-time, you can list them all down here. What I'm going to show you guys is just an example. And for the amount, this is how much money you're getting from each of those lists. And the notes is just a place where you can write down maybe a little bit of information, a tidbit, or for example, if you're working a 10 ringgit per hour a work job, then you can write that down here as well. then you can see here that we have a total, and you can calculate them in two ways. The first one is manually selecting. So for example, you can press equal to, select this cell plus this cell plus this cell and plus this cell. Press enter and you have a total of 1,540 ringgit. Another way is by using a function, a sum function. So if you type in sum, you can just select the range that you want to add, and you have the same result. Okay, then we create a table or a border using this, and we can customize it further later, but we're going to proceed with the next table, the next category. Okay, so then we have essential expenses. Now basically what essential expenses are the kinds of fees or responsibilities that you have as a student. So this includes anything ranging from dorm rent, utilities, your cell phone, telecom bill, your internet bill, how much you spend on food, and also if you have any debt, you should put them under this category. Now you don't have to fill in every tab under the notes, because you're free to fill it in however you want. For example, I'm not going to fill in the dorm rent because it is very clear what it is for, but I'm going to put in maybe school appliances, or if you want shampoo, deodorant, anything that relates to the list. Now we're going to do the same thing here as well, which is the sum function. I'm going to select all of this, put it here. I'm going to have 1,275 ringgits. And for our third category, which is extra expenses. Now, extra expenses is almost similar to your essential expenses, but this is specifically for the things that you don't need necessarily, but you know that you're going to spend each month. So this can range from anything like watching a movie with your classmates, or going out and eating at a restaurant, or buying a birthday gift even. Or if you have any subscription fees, like for example, a lot of people nowadays watch Netflix, then you can include that in this list. Now that we have our three categories, now we can customize them a little bit more and make it more pleasing to the eyes. One way I like to do that is by color coding. So for example, you can differentiate tables by assigning them with different colors, like for example blue. Now we're going to do the same for the other two tables here, but just by assigning different colors basically. And you can also bold them so that the text might pop a little bit. You can differentiate between the text. text under the background. Now for the fourth table, which is quite a small one, it's going to be our allowance table, more like a table that we use to keep track of our current spendings. So what I mean by this is, first I'm going to write in allowance leftovers. In the second table, second cell, I'm going to write in monthly cap. But before that, I'm going to add a little bit over here. This shouldn't include my daily meals, right? So 925 ringgit. Okay, so my allowance leftovers is basically our income minus all our expenses, so this two here, and so we should be getting around 456 ringgit. So basically then your monthly cap is just your daily meals plus your allowance leftovers, should be 806 ringgit. Now the next two cells I'm talking about, first one is current spending and allowance leftovers. So the current spending is what we're going to calculate next, which is how much from our monthly cap have we spent in that month. And so the allowance leftovers is the updated monthly cap. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do so that we can calculate our current spending and our allowance is by creating yet another table. And what we can do is specify this table so that we know on what items are we spending how much money. Let me show you. Now since we have these six columns, what I'm going to do next is divide them or put them into ranges. So if we select, for example, this much, when we right click, we can go here and define the name range. And I'm going to define this range as expenses, but I'm going to modify it a bit so that the range goes to around 1,000. Done. So that means all of this is in the same range. Next, I'm going to do the same thing for the other 5. Now that we've done separating them into ranges, I'm going to create another one where we select all of them and put them yet into another range. Now for this one, I'm going to put them into a range we call full table. So as you can see, it selects all of them. Now why did I create them into ranges is because I want to easily edit and modify each one of those ranges as I wish. Okay, so for example, if you go to the full table, you select it, I can put this and we can put a border on all of them at once. Another trick is I like to do to customize them, can give them alternating colors for each row. So for example, if you click format and you pick alternating colors, it shows you this option. So as you can see, it's much more livelier. Okay, so we're done. That's if we change the colors to blue. We can also change them to whatever color you want, basically. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to fill in this table so that we can customize them further. Now, continuing from where we left off, I fill in the list with the types of food that this person has bought over 7 days, over a week. And so I put in categories, for example, snacks, food, beverages, and also the date. And for a month, since it's all in October, so we can just conveniently drag it down. If you want to add decimal points, you can select the cell, and if you click on this, you can increase its decimal places. Also, if you want to add a currency symbol, you can click on that, click insert, click format, click on the number. If you go down, there's a Malaysian ringgit. If you don't see Malaysian ringgit, that means you have to manually format it. Under here, more currencies, and there's going to be a list of denominations such as pounds or US dollars, which you can choose. Okay, so if you click here, it turns to ringgit. So you can do the same for here as well. And if you want to add automatically to all these ranges, fortunately we have our ranges all set and ready. So if you click on this range, we'll select all of them. Just click format, click on numbers, and then turn to Malaysian ringgit. So now that if you put in any number here, for example, salmon cheese, maybe the price is 7 ringgit 60 cents. 7 ringgit 60 cents. Then it automatically turns into this format. You can also add decimal places. Amount you can add, or lose decimal places if you want. Okay, so you should fill in all of this so that you have the choice to sort. And what I mean by sort is if you select this table, you can sort this range so that it has a header. You can sort by all these categories. Okay, now so that's sort out, I'm going to fill in the amounts here so I can show you what to do next. Now, as you can see, I've completed most of the details here. I'm leaving it blank. Now, if you want to customize it further, you can align it centrally or like that. If you want to change the range or maybe amount, you can click on it, click on format, click for conditional formatting, and choose greater than. For example, if you don't want to spend more than 5 ringgit on a given food, then you can choose it to be red as such. And as you can see now, anything that you buy over 5 ringgit is going to be written in red. Now, if you want to add another rule, not this one, amount, you can add format, conditional formatting again. Now this time it's if it's less than, so then 3, choose it to be green, for example, to be having none. Yes, like that. Now we're done with that. You can change the format for the date as well. So if you select date, select format, initial format, and if you want to highlight a specific date, when you're done, you're going to have all the expenditure on the 3rd day of October written in yellow. Next, we're going to update on our allowance tab. Now, since we already have filled our amounts and our dates and everything, we can easily calculate how much we're currently spending and how much allowance we have left. For example, we can just select a specific range. We can select, for example, sum of our amount, and that should show us how much we're currently spending. So that's 120 ringgit and 70 cents. And so for our current allowance, we're just going to select our monthly cap minus by this amount. So we have 685 ringgit and 30 cents left. So that's a neat trick for you to learn how to customize and also calculate and keep yourself updated with how much money you have left. Okay, now if you want to transfer, for example, maybe this table into a Word document that you're currently working on, you can just copy this and open another tab, open Google and go to Google Docs. Now, I'm sorry for the mistake because this only works for Google Docs because Word is under Microsoft. So if you're going to transfer that table to Google Docs, you can do that and it will automatically update as well. So in here, you can just click on paste, or if it doesn't let you, you can just press Ctrl and V. And make sure you press link to spreadsheets. Right, so you have this here. So next time, if you're updating this, for example, this should automatically update, and in extension you can see that there's a new button up here, update. You can press on that and this will also update accordingly. Well, I think that's about it for my sharing today. But I want to thank you for staying with me and watching till the end. I hope you guys thought that what I've shared with you guys were beneficial and that you guys can use it to create your own finance table if you want. With that, thank you.